All right. So, hi everybody. Welcome. Welcome to our webinar Unlocking AI for surprisingly engaging presentations with Aga Pieczko. And this webinar is part of the webinar series called AI for the Real World, where everyday people show how they use AI in big and in small ways so that you too can make the most of the available tools right now and feel more prepared to navigate this AI revolution. My name is Anastando and I am your host, and I am an educator and community builder at heart, and I have always been passionate about learning in a way that feels fun, that is light, and that is super practical. But I am not a tech person, and I am learning from our guests together with you, and I am not afraid to ask all the stupid questions. So to give you a little bit of a flavor of what the AI for real world webinars are all about, let me tell you quickly about the topics that we cover. So at the last webinar with Priska Burkhardt, we looked at 2 AI tools that can help you to manage emails more efficiently. And today we will learn how to make more engaging presentations with AI. Next, we will have webinars where our guests will show us how to use AI for our meeting prep and follow-up, webinars about how to build agents that work as our assistants, and a webinar about managing projects better with the help of AI. And today we have 45 minutes to an hour together, and the Q&A will take place at the end of the call, but I will also try to keep an eye on the chat, and I will try to answer a few questions along the way, so please put them in the chat. And let me introduce you to our guest today, Agnieszka, who is also known as Aga Pieczko. So, Agnieszka. Agnieszka Pieczko is an AI transformation leader who specializes in turning experimentations into practical workflows that actually work in organizations. With a background spanning digital transformation projects in banking, telecom, and healthcare, she has spent her career translating complex technical concepts for diverse stakeholders, from engineers to executives. As Vice President and Head of Speakers for Women in Data Science Zurich, Aga curates content and facilitates discussions that bridge academia, industry, and policy. And as a co-founder and operational director of MenoSwiss, she has implemented AI-supported pipelines that reduce content production time by 40%, giving her hands-on experience with the tools and workflows she will be sharing today. And Aga's approach focuses on fundamentals first, understanding your audience, clarifying your message, and designing processes that serve real organizational needs. And only then strategically layering in AI to amplify what matters most. Welcome, Aga. I am so happy that you are here.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Anna. I am very flattered to be here and very happy to share a bit of my knowledge with all of you. I hope you will find it useful. And thank you for this very long introduction. I hope we will still manage to have time for the questions after this.
You shouldn't have done so many exciting things in your life. But I think it's all relevant for our conversations today. But before we go into the presentations, let me ask you this. What would you like to say to someone who feels overwhelmed by AI?
So first of all, I totally understand why people are overwhelmed nowadays with AI. I also was there once AI started, especially that there's so many information on LinkedIn. You know, everybody is writing about tools, about events, about new things, and so on and so on. So before for me it was also overwhelming, but the change happened when I started to using the tools, when I started to understand how they work, why they work this way, and I was just turning information into practice. And what I would say to the people is actually So you probably all remember the first moment when the internet and the websites appeared. And firstly, there was the first website, and the second, and the 10th, the 100th, the first million of websites, and so on and so on. But it doesn't mean that you needed to know all the websites, right? You went into the search mode, you looked for a very specific websites, or you went directly to the website address that you already knew, or yeah, you were recommended by somebody recommended you some website, and that's how you found your content. And the same is actually with the AI tools. So there is many hundreds, already millions of AI tools, but you don't need to know all of them. You just need to focus on what you need and then go to the tools that you need and use the ones that you like. It doesn't need to be 100 of them. It can be only 5 of them. So that's what I would also recommend to the people who still feel a bit overwhelmed with the amount of information that is out there.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's a good advice, right? There is a phase for experimentation, for looking around, what's there, how can I use it? Is this helpful for me? And this is actually what the AI webinars are for, right? We are kind of in this investigative phase. We're learning about what's there, and then we decide, okay, I want to jump here, I want to try it, I want to test it, I want to see if that meets my expectations or not, or I'm going to try something else. But the moment you have something that works, there's no necessarily a big need to always keep changing. So
exactly.
Thank you for that, and I am really looking forward to hearing from you. What are your favorite AI tools to make surprisingly engaging presentations? So tell us, Aga, what will our participants learn today?
So I will start with, as you said, tools that I'm using. There will be a couple of steps that I want to run with you from the beginning. So from the idea up until the last step that can be an interactive HTML presentation. In between, there are some steps that you can already find useful enough and you don't need to do anything more. I will address them also with you and to show you possibilities which are there. And yeah, in the end, I hope you will like the presentation that I created specifically for you today.
Great, looking forward. So, shall we go into your demo?
Yes, let's maybe start with the first very short poll.
Okay, I'm launching the poll. Give me thumbs up that you can all see it.
We can, I think.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Anya Nowosielska, nice to see you here. Yeah, I see some answers. Perfect. Take your time. The question is, how do you currently use AI for presentations? And the answers are not at all. I write everything from scratch. For the boring parts, outline, summaries, and formatting, or for first drafts, then I rewrite heavily. And the final answer is end to end. I would rather edit than write. Perfect. So I see that almost all of you have answered already. And let me see if I can share the results with you. Aga, do you want to comment? Can you see that?
I can see that most of you don't use AI at all. You write everything from scratch. That's very good, to be honest, because I'm happy that I will show you something new. Hopefully, you will find it. Also, you will find information here that you will be able to use in the future. For the first drafts, then you will write it heavily. Yes, I can totally understand this. For the boring parts, obviously, this is like the first step, probably. End to end, awesome. 2 people are using end to end. I will be very interested in your feedback afterwards, whether you learned something new today from me. Thank you very much for sharing the information. That gives me also a bit deeper look into where are we standing. And now maybe I could share with you like the first step. So before we go into the tools, I wanted to share with you basic step that is very important, or at least actually 3 golden rules. That's what I call them. So the 3 golden rules of every presentation before you start even using the AI tools, because as I mentioned, AI is only technology. It's about to help you. It's not about to replace you. So all ideas, everything that you want to present during the presentation should come from you. And those are the 3 main golden rules that should be met, never mind whether you use AI or whether you don't use AI, to be honest. So first of all, obviously know your audience, who they are, what they need, what do you want to show them, whether they in the beginning of their journey or do they need something more from you. So it's good practice to know your audience and to know what you want whom you will be talking to, and what they need. And that's the main point, I think, in every presentation. And then the second one, know your goals. So you need to know, obviously, what the presentation is supposed to achieve. So whether you're going to the business leader, for example, and presenting some new direction that you want them to show, or are you going to, I don't know, marketing department and wanting them to invest more money in some activities, or maybe you just want to teach someone something, or any kind of presentation. You need to know your goal and remember the 3 to 5 things, so the key takeaways at the end of the presentation that the audience needs to leave with. So those 3 to 5 takeaways are actually getting the whole outline for the presentation for you. And then with the AI, the third point that is very important, don't lose focus, because AI during the brainstorming or during the preparation will suggest you a lot of things. Do you want this? Do you want that? Do you want to go deeper into this? Should I prepare that, and so on and so on. So if you go with the AI suggestions, then it's very easy to lose focus on the first and the second point, so the audience and the goal. And you definitely need to remember that AI is super cool to use, but the most important thing is that the presentation would be interesting and bring value, obviously, to your audience. So it doesn't need to be flashy, it doesn't need to be fully animated and so on, as long as it fulfills the 2 first points. And as I said, with AI, it's very easy to lose the focus because it gives you a lot of possibilities. So I think those are the 3 main golden rules that I use in my everyday life while preparing the presentation. And then I wanted to show you actually the first step that I'm using, where I'm using AI to prepare the slides itself. I have 2 monitors, so it's not that I'm not paying attention to what's happening here on my camera, but I have the second monitor that I'm sharing with you here, so that's why I will be sometimes looking on my left side. Before I dive into the tools, maybe we could go, Anna, to the second poll very quickly.
Yes, I've just launched it.
Awesome, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So the question is, which part of using AI for presentations is hardest for you? And the answers are getting started, prompting well, knowing when to stop, or making it feel like mine.
Mm-hmm.
I see that half of you have already answered. In the meantime, I'll just say that I loved your comment about not losing focus, because that is true. When I brainstorm, content for my presentations or text or whatever it might be, it always gives me so many ideas, and many of them are great. And sometimes there is time and place for brainstorming, but it's very easy to end up with something completely different from what
exactly
you wanted to make.
Yes.
And, fantastic. So thank you so much for everybody. Thank you to everybody. Here are the results.
I like the result. Making it feel like mine is the it has the biggest score, and I totally feel you. I was there. I was there. So let me show you now the tools that helped me actually, or the steps even more that helped me to overcome this. So first of the tools, before I show you on the screen, it's very simple because it's ChatGPT, so no big secret here. However, how it came to me. So you probably know this feeling that you have the best idea for the presentation, either in the evening when you go to sleep, or when you're, I don't know, shopping, or when you're outside playing with your kids, or you're running some errands, and so on and so on. And then the idea for the presentation comes, or the idea for, I don't know, message or a LinkedIn post or anything. And you have a problem because you cannot write it down. You cannot do actually anything with this. So my solution to this is a very fancy dictator. So let me share with you screen to show you how I did it with ChatGPT. So you probably see now my ChatGPT, how I prepared to today's presentation. So first of all, I set the rules. Okay, so I will now record you my notes, and you will later write them down without summarizing, without shortening, nothing. Just write them down in a clear and correct manner. Do you understand? So firstly, I set the rules with ChatGPT, obviously. So it would know that I just want my notes. I don't want any golden rule, any suggestions, any interruptions from the tool. I just want everything written down. And then I started to dictate. So here you have the microphone. I don't go into chat mode. I go into chat mode when I want to, obviously, I don't know, chat with ChatGPT. But if
question?
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't go into the chat mode? If you just press on the microphone, then it starts recording?
Yes, exactly. So those are my very raw thoughts. You see, it's like I was just recording my thoughts. So, okay, I want on the first slide this, on the second slide I want this, then I want to go there. And then I stop recording, and it just writes me down in a clear, written manner, very structurized, what I told it. So nothing is changed.
Yes. So I only want to clarify that point about not going into the chat mode, because it confused me.
Yeah.
Because normally, when I see at the bottom, I see the chat box, and with the plus button on the left, right? Normally you just start there, and then you're kind of having a chat, you're having a conversation with the tool. So what, and you were on the right? You pointed at the microphone, and then at this other use voice.
Use voice, yes. Okay. So use voice is the chatbot. So you just, as you said, you just have a conversation with chat.
So however, it's like a spoken conversation.
Exactly.
So rather than typing, you have a spoken conversation with it. Okay, great. I think that was good to clarify, because I think we are not all aware of the fact that actually ChatGPT can also like speak back at you.
Yes, exactly.
So you meant by going into the conversation, into the chat mode, you mean that instead of writing, you communicate by voice. Okay.
Exactly. And then it responds to you. It's very good for very quick brainstorming, very short conversations. But for the preparing the presentation, I don't use it. I use only dictate. So this microphone, and then it just gives me my notes in a correct, properly written manner, because this is the point that you also, all of you mentioned. This way, I'm not losing what I wanted to say. Yes. It's exactly my idea. It's exactly what I wanted to say. It's just written in proper English.
Yes. And it's scannable now.
Yes.
Then you can scan and you can go back easily rather than trying to go back to.
Exactly. So in the situations that I was mentioning about, when you're in shop, or you're in a playground, or you're going somewhere, or it's late in the evening and you just really don't want to sit in front of your computer and write everything down, I just use this transcribing. And then when I'm waking up in the morning, I have all of my thoughts written down. Usually I was waking up in the night and trying to write down, on paper because it wasn't solved in my head. Now I have this transcribing. I just click, record myself, and then that's all. I have everything in the morning. My thoughts are there. I can come back to them. I'm not afraid that I will forget something.
Well, I hope this webinar wasn't giving you too many sleepless nights when
No, no, definitely only my ideas are, but I have many ideas connected with so many topics. So for me, transcribing option is very good. I'm using ChatGPT to do this because I tested a couple of different models, and ChatGPT is the one that just, as I said, is my favorite one for this activity. So only two things to remember here, actually. So first one, before you go into transcribing, set the rules, because otherwise it will try to summarize you the text that you recorded. So it can shorten it, it can lose your, idea, it can try to adjust it somehow, and so on and so on. But if you say to the chat, if you say it that you don't want anything to be done with the text, you just want it written in a clear manner, then it sticks to the main thought that you have. And secondly, here, for example, you can see you can see it in Polish because the setting for my ChatGPT is in Polish. So I did too long recording, and it didn't do the chat didn't do the transcription for me. So also bear in mind that it's still technology. It makes mistakes. So it's better to do shorter recordings, just send, and then another one and another one, as I was doing here.
Can you give us an estimate of how long have you been speaking?
So not longer than 2 minutes.
Okay.
I would say so. 2 to 3 minutes is max. If you're getting to 5 minutes, it depends. It sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. I think it depends also on your connection to the internet, many factors. But this is the first step. And this way you have your own thoughts, your own idea written down. And this is how I'm using ChatGPT transcription. So as I said, a very fancy dictator that puts my thoughts into order. And then in the morning when I'm waking up, I can come back easily to them. Then what I'm doing in the second step is the brainstorming. So this is where AI tools are very useful because they can do the research for you. They can be very good brainstorming partner. So for me, the best brainstorming partner is Claude. But what I wanted to show you is, for example, there are many websites. I'm using very often this ChatHub, GG. So here you can compare a couple of models. So for example, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and DeepSeek. You can put one prompt, which will be the same for all of the models, and you can just send it out, and then you can see how the models are thinking. You can already see the process. So you can see that, okay, the ChatGPT gives me already the answer. It didn't think too long. And it gives me obviously bullet points, what is very, very recognizable in ChatGPT. Then Claude is still thinking. It's doing really the research. Then DeepSeek, already you can see that which steps it took and what is the result. Here in Gemini, also the same. So you can see like comparable Gemini and DeepSeek took similar steps. And then you can compare the results. And based on this one prompt, ChatGPT is still typing. You see, it has a lot of information, a lot of bullet points. Most of them, the information probably you don't even need. And then you can just compare which of the answers is the best for you. And then you can decide which model you like. For example, you can test it for a couple of prompts, for a couple of, different situations that you're having, and then just see which is the most preferred LLM for you. For me, it's Claude, because as you can see, it really did a deep research. It really thought longer, and also I like the language that it's using to prepare me answers. So what I did for my presentation, I just very simply copied all the notes from from ChatGPT with a one click, and then I went to Claude and I started with presenting the situation. So I will be doing short 25-minute workshop. Now I will give you all my notes. Wait until the end. When I say you that I'm done, evaluate the content for me. And I pasted all the content, and then what I got was the brainstorming. So here I'm brainstorming with Claude in general. So we're going into conversation. Okay, so why this, why that? Here you just have a conversation with chat. So this is the free brainstorming. You can disagree, you can ask questions, you can ask for sources, you can do research, and so on. And here is the phase where you can actually end, because you can ask Claude, okay, so give me a plan for the presentation and then prepare me PowerPoint. And it will split you out for you the PowerPoint. Actually, the PowerPoint that I will be sharing with you today is prepared by Claude, so you could also see how the result looks like. And for the situations where you have, for example, some kind of, inner presentation, or you want to share very short presentation with your inner circle, or you need to prepare short presentation for a webinar, or you just need to send something out, this is actually quite enough using Claude for preparing the presentation. However, if you want to present something in a bigger room, let's say, 20 people, and you want the presentation to look better, to adjust it to your needs, and so on, what I'm using is Gamma. So Gamma is the third tool. What I wanted to show you now. So for example, here I prepared Firstly, I will show you a couple of steps. So you can create a Gamma whatever you want. You can create also a very short website. You can create a doc file, but I'm using it only for the presentations. And the most used option for me, as you can see, is paste in text. Why I'm not using the generate option? Because Gamma is a paid tool. I have the minimum plan, and each time I'm using Gamma to prepare the presentation, it uses the credits. So if I will be prompting with Gamma, then it will be using the credits just for the prompting. And it's not a great tool to do the research and the brainstorming. So I prefer to use LLMs to this phase and then go with a ready outline prompt to Gamma and just paste in text. And here I can, the thing that Claude prepared for me, I can just copy and paste. I can choose whichever form I want. What I like here, I can do the summary of the text. Sorry if it's too long, or I can preserve the exact text, what I will do now, or generate from notes or outline. But this is the one that consumes the most credits if you start with this. And then you can go to the prompt editing, and here is a very cool feature from Gamma, especially useful in Switzerland. You can change language. So I'm very often using here, for example, if I'm preparing content in English and German, and I have the first outline in English, then I'm using here only the language to German, and it translates me automatically presentation to German. Obviously, later I need to verify this, but I don't have to do all the translation by myself, or even with a ChatGPT or Gemini or anything.
Yeah, great.
I can also use some templates, and I can set up the tone of the photos. And this is what I also like in Gamma. So for example, I will do now a presentation with a paper style photo. I can select the model of the images that will create me images. So this is something that is very useful. I usually do auto select model, but if you have preferences to the models that are generating images, you can choose one that you want. And then
what do you mean? Auto select. Okay, so you choose first the style. You can say which style you like, and
yes,
then
exactly.
And then auto select. So you don't need to go and on every slide choose from 3 options or something like this. It just
yes,
okay.
Exactly. And here, if you already tested some image generation by models, you can choose, for example, your preferred model. But if you if you don't have any preference, the auto select option is just the best one.
Mhm.
And then if you click generate, you can see the magic happening. So it will be preparing the presentation just for you, writing everything, preparing the images. We will give it a moment. I will show you now what it already did for me in the previous prompt. So the prompt was the same. I just set up the different style of pictures, and this is what I got as far as the presentation is concerned. So the topic was the book market, because I thought this will be interesting for the polls and statistics to present you. And this is the presentation that Gamma made for me. So you see the visuals, the statistics, the tables, they're already looking really nice. I don't need to worry for the pictures because it tells me the pictures of, all the things like here. So it makes your time, as far as the preparing presentation is concerned, much, much shorter. So it doesn't, Sorry, I was just reading. I haven't read what. I was just a bit surprised that the 500 million copies is of Don Quixote.
I also had a quick look at the
yeah.
Yes. Okay. But I saw there was one slide higher up, like the second slide from the top. Oh yeah, this one. So
this.
Yes. Yeah. This is not the regular presentation format, though.
You mean the slide format, like general?
Yes. It's very high, right? Versus
Yes.
the presentation. Rest of the presentation is rectangular, right?
Yeah, but you can download this in PDF, so then it's not a problem at all.
Okay.
So it's really, as far as presenting them, then it's really easy. As now I'm also presenting, I just hit the present button and it adjusts to the size. You see, if I will make the window smaller, it will just adjust to the size, well, at least, maybe now with the window.
Sharing.
But you can, see, it's just...
make it longer, to fit on the page, so it's like...
Yes, exactly. And here, for example, is it ready? It's still creating images. So you see here it created different images because I chose a different style. So it's...
Change the style of images after the presentation is created?
No, you chose it in the prompt, so you can go back to the prompt and you can always change if you don't like here the art style. You can always change it.
Okay.
So it does make preparing a presentation much, much faster. It helps you to prepare a presentation much, much faster and easier, I think. What's the problem here is that if you're using the basic option, it doesn't allow you to adjust the presentation to your template. But to overcome this problem, what I'm doing is I'm just downloading the presentation and putting it into Canva, and then in Canva, you can just go to your branding and, I don't know, change the color palette, add your logo, and do all the things with the presentation that you need to do. It's definitely preparing the presentation in Gamma is much easier than in Canva, because in Canva you need to adjust all the text by yourself. You need to look for the photos, upload the photos, you need to do this by yourself. And Gamma does it all for you. So you have the presentation ready. What you're putting in Canva is only the branding, or, I don't know, your favorite fonts or logo of your company, or just rearranging the presentation, for example, that you want the photo on the left, not on the right.
Okay, so let me see if I got this right. So Gamma it has a free version. Yes, sir. Right?
Gamma has a free version with a limit of credits. Yes.
Okay. And you can create a presentation there, and you can choose the style and the way it looks. but you can't get it can't adjust it automatically to your brand. So for example, if you have favorite fonts, or if you're working for an organization, right, it has the logo, it has the colors, it has the letter type. It can't do it in the free version, and maybe it can't do it in the paid version either.
In paid, you can do it. In
Okay,
paid, you have much more options.
okay, but if you use the free version, you can get a great outline, but it doesn't necessarily look like yours. And for that, you download that and you go into Canva, where
Yes.
you can also in the free version, where you can adjust it to your brand.
In Canva, I think you need the minimum version to do your branding, like to have this in the option that I showed you here, that you have your brand already, you know, remembered with your logo and everything, with your photos. You need the minimum paid version, but to adjust, you know, the presentation, to upload the logo and to edit the presentation, the free version is enough. So it depends to whom you're doing, for whom you're doing the presentation. Do you need your branding here? Can it be just, you know, in different colors, or is it important for you, and so on and so on.
But you say Canva is much easier to edit. Even though, because, you know, I can choose, well, I'm just going to pay for one model, I'm just going to pay for Gamma, and then I can edit it to my brand colors and my letter type. But you say that the process, how user-friendly it is, Canva is actually more user-friendly for that.
If you're using the basics, so you're not paying for the pro, then it's easier, definitely. If you want to pay for the pro in Gamma, then it would be probably better to stay in Gamma and to just edit this in Gamma. However, myself, I'm working with a couple of brands. So that's why I'm using Canva, because it's just easier for me to prepare the presentation in specific colors for specific brand.
Yes, because it's more widespread.
Yes, exactly. So I don't want to pay more for Gamma, because either way, I just want a different brand. So I need a different color sets, different logos, and so on. But if you want, just if you have your own brand, your own logo, your own color set, then probably going to Gamma, you would need to just see also how much presentations you need to prepare, because Canva is a bit cheaper, that's for sure.
Okay, so now I have a presentation in Gamma. I download it in a which format do I download it in, and then upload it to Canva?
I usually use PowerPoint. That's the easiest one.
And then in Canva, I open a new presentation, and somehow I can do the upload of the GPT.
Exactly.
And it turns it into Canva slides. Okay, great. I'm with you.
Okay. And then the fun part. So, as I said, after the brainstorming with Claude,
a bit wider.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, thank you.
If you're going to Claude and then ending with Claude, this is the first phase that you can end with your presentation, just a presentation prepared by Claude, and that's all. You can end it with Gamma. If you don't need your branding, then the presentation is ready. If you want your branding, you can end it with, you can edit this with Canva and then have your own branding. And if you want a presentation for a bigger audience that will be a bit more interactive, so it will be prepared in HTML. You can use my favorite tool. I tested it since the beginning. It was a very small tool, so it's Lovable. It's just a great tool to prepare everything, like really. It's not great for doing the brainstorming because it also uses credits. So that's why I'm usually using this with a very prepared prompt or input that I want to share. But for preparing websites, preparing presentations, graphics, and so on, Lovable is amazing tool. So I have my subscription to Lovable, and what I did here, I uploaded the PowerPoint from the Gamma that I prepared, and I did a very simple prompt: make me an interactive HTML from this presentation. So why I put a simple prompt here? It's because I had already the presentation, so Lovable knows what I want to, what will be the content and so on. That's why I'm using all the previous tools. I could skip Gamma, for example, if I know that I want the HTML. I could use only the presentation from Claude, obviously. I just wanted to show you the different possibilities here. But if you want to do HTML since the beginning, you just do an outline in Claude for Lovable and then just copy and paste it into Lovable. But what's also important here, the same with Gamma. So it's better to brainstorm with LLMs like Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini to prepare an outline for you and then just copy and paste it instead of brainstorming with Lovable or Gamma, because then you're using your credits for the thing that you don't need in this specific tool. And then it prepared me the very simple HTML presentation. I will now show it to you. So first of all,
what do you mean by HTML presentation?
So HTML is like a website, so you can interact with the presentation. You can do polls, you can do short quizzes, you can do some games even. So it looks definitely better than the standard presentation. If you have some complex ideas to present, especially tables, statistics, charts, it's definitely, in my opinion, at least, easier with the HTML, because I will show it to you in a second. You can just present the results from charts or tables in a distinct matter. So more readable, easier to see because it adjusted the color. It adjusts the colors as well for you. And yeah, I just think it's nicer to the audience, to the participants.
Mm-hmm.
That are watching the presentation. So first of all, as you can see here, I hope so, I added the clock to measure the time of the session. Not sure whether you can see it. Just a sec.
Not sure where I'm supposed to look at.
Here, you see here
at the
the
very
clock?
bottom. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So you can already measure time of your presentation. You don't need to watch on your clock, watch for the clock on the wall, whether you see it or not. You have the time of the presentation measured here directly in your presentation. So you can see where you're with the timing. Then, yeah, you can see that you just click and it goes. Those funny effects like the numbers here even, it just makes the presentation a bit more interesting. Yes. Then for the polls, and here, for example, you can see all the books sold, actual or projected. So you can see you don't need 3 different tables. You don't need different colors in one. Yes, so then it gets a bit harder to read. You can just do it this way, and you can always come back or go farther. Then you can do, like, for example, even this very simple statistic, but you can go to, you can go to a specific country, it changes the color, it shows you here the effect. Yeah. So it's quite, I think, attractive just to look at it, to get the information. It can actually stay with you because of the colors used, of the flags used, all the interactions are just helping
to memorize.
Exactly. And here you have a quick poll. So this poll is without QR code, but usually you could get like, for example, if I click here, it gives me the answer afterwards, right? Because now it's on click, but you could have easily put here a QR code because Lovable is connected to the tool that it's named SAPA base. So it gets like a very simple data from you. So you can put a QR code without using outside tool like Mentimeter or Slido or anything like this. And then people in your audience can scan the QR code and vote. And they can have time, like here it was 10 seconds to vote, and then you can see real life results from the voting and the correct answer. Then here is like a very simple quiz. So you can also do this kind of game with your audience. Okay, so what do you think? And now you can vote, even with, by raising your hand. They can vote and just engage with you in the presentation and make it a bit more active with your body as well, just not to sit in one place and not to go and fall asleep essentially during very long presentation. Even those polls, very easy to click and to go. And you can do with Lovable, you can do actually really. So let's vote here. Anna, what do you think? Where do you discover new books?
Friends and family and bookstores.
According to the research, the most people are discovering nowadays on TikTok. There is something even like BookTok, which I didn't know, to be honest. That's something I learned today, that something like this exists.
Oh, well, yeah. If any of you ever writes a new book, then we need to remember that. Go and promote it on TikTok. Yeah.
Exactly.
One thing we take away from today's webinar.
Exactly. I hope that not only that. But yeah, so this is how you create the HTML presentation, which I personally find very useful. Yeah, because of the fact that, as I mentioned, it's just easy to present complex knowledge in a maybe not funny, but more interesting way, sometimes funny, sometimes more engaging because of the quizzes or the polls and so on and so on. So if you want to have your presentation a bit more interactive, then the HTML, I think it's the best solution.
Great. We have 10 minutes left. I would still like to allow for some questions from the audience, but first I'm going to ask you my question, because you have shown us a lot of different tools, and it was really interesting to see what can be done, and the effect is definitely really impressive. So I've got a challenging question to you. If you could use only one AI tool to help you make great, engaging presentations, what would it be and why?
If I would need to choose only one, then I would go probably with Claude for the brainstorming, for the writing my ideas, brainstorming, giving me an evaluation, doing the research, and so on.
Great.
It would help me with the content, and then I would unfortunately need to do the hard work, so the boring work, just putting something into the PowerPoint. But to be totally honest, I would use at least 3 of them. So ChatGPT, Claude, and Gamma. This is the
yeah. Okay, why ChatGPT? Still, if you can use Claude, you say it's really great for brainstorming. Remind me, why was the ChatGPT step important there as well?
So I'm using ChatGPT for the transcription. So it serves me as a dictator. I think it's quite good. I tested it. I stuck with it. So yeah, with Claude, I tested the voice option, but just for the transcription. Then yeah, ChatGPT is just easier for me.
Okay. And what else should we keep in mind when designing our presentations?
Yes, this is a great idea, a great question. So first of all, I just wanted to close the presentation with the 3 takeaways. As I mentioned in the beginning, this is very important step, and I think this is something that you should take home. So AI is still not a director. It gives you suggestions, but you decide where to go, what to ignore, and what to take for your presentation. Then, as I mentioned, find your favorites. I showed you mine favorites. It doesn't mean that they have to be yours. And then focus on what they remember. So the message that you want to transfer to the public is the most important. So the audience and the goal. AI just makes it easier and can help you with make it in a shorter time or more attractive to the public. But it's the 3 golden rules are still there, and you need to remember about them.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm looking at the chat to see if there were any questions, and there is definitely one from Atina, and she's asking if Gamma exports PowerPoint or PDFs.
Both.
Both, great. Are there any other questions? If you have anything, then this is the time to ask. So I'm gonna give you a few seconds if you want to type, or if you want to unmute yourself, that's easier. And in the meantime, I'm going to ask Aga one final question. Oh, there is a question from Atina.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Atina, go for it.
Hi, thank you so
Hi.
much for that. I really love that, and I've also started exploring Lovable. Actually, I have two questions. I'll try to keep them very short. For me, the most challenging part when creating PowerPoints is actually the aesthetics, because I understand this sort of discussion or brainstorming with other ChatGPT, Claude, or any LLM in terms of creating content. But the part where you have to find boxes and create, for example, workflows and align the arrows and the lines, this is the thing that always takes so much time for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a graphic designer, so I struggle with having everything straightened up. And I have to say, I'm using Canva for example, for my CV generation a lot. And I recently conversed with the AI of Canva, and it was actually able to make sure that all the bullet points were aligned, that I was following the same font size throughout my documents and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering whether something like this could actually exist in your main presentation tool, which according to your suggestion is Gamma. So the content is one thing, and I absolutely understand scripting and having all the content that you've discussed with AI. But my question is, what happens with aesthetics?
So as I said, you can do it with Gamma and then convert it to Canva. You can go with Canva. It depends which tools do you prefer. So I'm going with Gamma because it's just quicker for me. So it prepares the layout for all slides. Like if I have 20 slides, I have already created this in Gamma. And then I'm taking the presentation from Gamma and either way adjusting this in Canva. If I want to have this personal touch, like my colors, or I have my favorite photos, or I just don't want to look for the presentation to look like Gamma generated. So I'm downloading this and adjusting in Canva. You can do this from the straight beginning in Canva, but what I find more useful is Gamma is that it prepares those 20 slides, like let's say in 1 minute. And in Canva, I would need to pick the layout. I would need to copy paste the text, do everything by my own. So I prefer to do this automatically in Canva and then adjust in Canva, and then adjust in Canva, than the other way around. But if your favorite tool is Canva, is this the second point here? So find your favorite, master it, and just stick to it.
I'm actually one of the people that have never used AI for the presentation. That's why I'm really curious, and I found this workshop and the topic really interesting. And it leads me to my second question, if I may. So you need to have a working LLM model. My preference is also Claude right now. Then it's a tool like Canva or Gamma, which takes care of your documents. Now you've introduced Lovable, and you end up having a lot of tools which you might start using them, but then your company might not allow the use of these tools. And it's always a little bit of the ethical question, like how much will AI do for us and how much will we do it? So where is your personal touch? I feel I'm getting, if I may allow, a little bit stupid, less and less. I've used a lot of AI and I don't use, my language skills, for example, or my personal touch whenever I need to write something. And also in terms of subscribing, because now I have to check all the subscriptions with the different tools that I'm using. It starts becoming a little bit crazy with the amount of information and subscriptions and tools that you have to use. Maybe from your own experience, you have some ideas of how to navigate with all these issues.
Yes, so to the tools. I have my favorite ones. I would say there are like 7 of them that I'm paying for. but I'm using them obviously not only for the presentations. I'm using them every day almost, or every second day. So like Lovable or Canva or even Gamma and the LLMs I'm using really every day or every second day. I'm just needing the tools, so that's why I'm paying for them. For the other tools, I'm not paying. I'm trying, if anything, I'm trying firstly the free version, but then usually, to be honest, I'm not very, if I found my tool that I like and that is useful for me, I'm not looking for anything else. And at least not at the moment. Maybe if someone will recommend it to me and say, yes, this is amazing, I will test it and then I will switch. But I'm just sticking to the favorite ones. And then I don't need to learn the new tool. I don't need to pay so much attention to the subscriptions and so on, but because I have my favorite ones that I'm paying for, but I'm using them. As to the ethical question, this is a very important one, and I'm totally on board with you. I also represent a lot of topics connected with responsible AI, ethical AI, AI literacy, and so on. But to be honest, I don't find myself thinking less. Because of the brainstorming process, I actually need to think more, because I need to question a tool that is supposed to be intelligent. So I'm having a sparring partner. If it tells me something, I need to think, yeah, okay, but you seem very you're very sure of your answer. But I need to think, what questions should I ask the tool? What should I ask, for example, Claude, to make his answer better, you know? So I'm actually thinking more and spending less time on, let's say, boring stuff. So, for example, like, adjusting colors or picking up the font or making the presentation even or something like this. So, and the idea, as I mentioned in the beginning, every text that you find here in this presentation comes from me. It's not AI generated. It comes from my original recordings that I put into ChatGPT. So it's not, it's not something that was not, I'm not author of. It's just prepared in this very attractive way by AI. However, still the content is totally mine. The wording is mine. And as I said, during the brainstorming, I think I even need to think more than I was during, when I had to spend time, half an hour or 40 minutes to prepare a presentation in PowerPoint.
Yes. At the last webinar, our guest, Priska Burkhardt, said that we need to treat the AI tools as, or the AI tool that we're using as a new colleague, right? And new colleague, you wouldn't just hand in the computer and you say, okay, good luck, all the best, go talk to your customers, go execute, but you would guide it. And oftentimes, we learn the most when we are teaching. That's definitely true for me. And we are teaching the AI tool to work for us. So thank you so much for this insight. We are going to wrap up this webinar. I am going to ask one more question to Aga, but in the meantime, for all of you who are still here, I would love for you to quickly provide me with feedback on the webinar. So you can see it now, hopefully. Can you see it, Aga?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, perfect, great. So while we are waiting for the results, I've got the final question for you today, and it is, what's one small AI trick you personally love that we didn't get to talk about today, but you still think that everyone should know?
The trick that I love, or the very simple AI extension actually that you can easily install to your browser, it's called Harpa AI. It's totally not connected to the presentations, but it's very helpful for me. So Harpa AI is this kind of extension that I'm using very often during watching YouTube videos, especially the ones that are very long and still very useful, interesting, like tutorials or I don't know, some long interviews, etc. And Harpa AI, you just start the extension on your browser, and it helps you to real-time summarize the video. And from a 1 hour and a half video, it just gave me like 15 minutes of very short, very concrete information that I could use, upload this to, for example, LLM, and then Brainstorm, ask specific questions. And I was learning much more than just spending 1 hour and a half on listening to video from which I would take 15 minutes.
Making your own notes, making your own quizzes.
Exactly.
Everything.
Exactly.
Okay. Great. Well, I'm looking forward to testing Harpa AI. Thank you so much, Agnieszka, for sharing all that knowledge with us today. Thank you for everybody joining us. If you would like to continue learning, please make sure to connect with Aga on LinkedIn and follow Women in Data Science and Menoswiss. We will for sure send you the links in the follow-up email in the next few days, but Aga, feel free as well to put them already in the chat for those of you who would like to check it out straight away. And I also want to highly recommend the Women in Data Science conference, which is happening on June 19th. And it brings together leading voices from industry, academia, and research and focuses on the topic of data science and AI. And what the conference is really known for is not only the really interesting and valuable talks, but also the very strong community and inspiring women on stage and mentorship-driven networking. So 19th of June, have a look, and we might meet each other there. And also mark your calendars for June 15th. That's a Monday, again at 12 o'clock. We will have another webinar with Tunde Lucas. And we will learn how to prepare and follow up better from our meetings. So Tunde will give us free practical demos across the life cycle of a meeting. So starting with preparing for a meeting with a research assistant, then capturing the conversation, and then finally using the transcript to follow up. And the webinar will be soon online. I just need to put it up, and I will share with you the registration link in the follow-up email as well. So thank you once more. If you have any questions, we haven't managed to answer them today. I can't read through all the messages right now, but you can send us your question. Maybe we can include something in the follow-up email. I want to thank you for joining us today, and I hope you are walking away with something practical, something inspiring, and hopefully even something you will try this week. So see you at the next webinar, and in the meantime, go explore and make AI work for you. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Thanks, Anna. Thanks, Aga.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.